One of the biggest enigmas on Earth that will stump scientists 5,000 years from now is the question, why did they want to be gangbangers again? Why did kids want to grow up to be gangbangers? Who was signed up to be a gangbanger? They were a laughingstock of society. Nobody took them seriously. They were clowns. They were jokes, right? They were terrible human beings. Society frowned upon them. They were degenerates. It makes no sense, right? As a gangbanger, you're living to die. At least die for something that's honorable, right? Don't die for something with no integrity, no morals, no principles that nobody respects. It doesn't make no sense whatsoever, bruh. Now, this situation with the 11 Hoovers really proves how terrible of human beings these people are, okay? So there was 11 Hoovers running around LA like wild hyenas trafficking children. They finally got caught and they're facing life sentences, okay? Now, this news is spreading through LA like wildfire.
Disturbing trafficking bust. Several suspected gang members arrested, accused of forcing young girls into prostitution. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for being with us. You're watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Marla Tejas.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Devine. Federal prosecutors here in LA say this is the first major takedown trafficking operation on that infamous Figueroa Street.
Fox 11's Chelsea Edwards spoke to the acting top prosecutor in our area about this bust, and she's live in Westwood tonight. Chelsea?
Yeah, well, this was a big bust. We're talking 11 alleged gang members, including 6 leaders of the Hoover Criminal Street Gang, now indicted on these really disturbing charges. Take a look at some video. These are images that were mentioned in the indictment, things that they posted to social media. Prosecutors say the gang recruited girls as young as 14 years old, many of them runaways or kids from the foster care system.
And instead of the gangbanger asking, man, are the children okay? Man, how can we stop this in the future? Man, who in their right mind would traffic children? Instead of those questions creeping through their mind, no. Their only concern at this point is, who was snitching on the homie, cuz? Literal children are being trafficked by wild Hoover hyenas, and the first question gangbangers are asking in LA is, who's snitching on the homies, cuz?
What's good, man? So, I did the video yesterday on the Hoovers actually getting the RICO case, and I'm guessing, you know, a lot of people been talking about it. Now, it just wasn't just the Hoovers. There was individual from BPS, and they're one of Baby Stone Gorillas. And again, y'all know that I don't really get into like hood politics and stuff like that unless it's pertaining to people that's on social media or stuff that's already in the news, right? So this is definitely in the news. It was a news release. I read the federal news release, but today we're talking about Smack from back on Fig and things that he possibly said that could have gotten people to think that he helped the Hoovers catch this case. There was a clip that was released of Smack on the radio station. Y'all know they got that deal where they go on the radio station every so often. And in this conversation, he had a talk or discussion with the mayor about cleaning up.
You're about to witness in real time why the average gangbanger has a 30 IQ. We can just briefly touch on, if literal children are being trafficked and the first thing you're thinking about is who is snitching on the homies, cuz, or blood, then you are a weirdo. These nincompoops, they're blaming a podcast by the name of Smack. They're claiming that because Smack did an interview with the mayor, and he asked the mayor, what is her plans to clean up Fig, that he's responsible for why the feds rolled up and conducted his RICO.
I grew up on 51st and Figueroa, right? Mm-hmm. What is we gonna do about the prostitution out there and these kids walking Figueroa? And your kids gotta go to school and see this.
So let me just tell you, that's an issue that when we started in the 90s, we were dealing with as well. The difference is that the women, there were women that were on the streets then. Now they're girls that are on the street.
Babies.
Almost across the board, the girls are from the foster care system. That's why I've always worked on foster care.
Right.
Because when you are a foster kid and you turn 18 or 21, we literally put you on the street. So foster girls are prime victims because they don't have the family support that would never allow them to be pulled that way, and especially foster girls that are in group homes.
Right.
And sometimes, unfortunately, it's...
Let's lower ourselves to their IQ and pretend that mayors are able to bring federal charges onto villains, okay? Do y'all believe that an interview that was conducted 3 weeks ago will be responsible for a RICO? These people is blaming Smack for this and claiming that because Smack asked this question to the mayor 3 weeks ago, they were able to get subpoenas from Instagram, from social media sites. They were able to get wiretaps. They were able to conduct a full investigation in 3 weeks and get a criminal indictment, as well as the records from the Instagram, from the cell phone. Cut it out, man. It doesn't make sense whatsoever, right? But that's not even the worst part of this, bro.
So there you have it. Smack said what he said. It is what it is. Now, people then went and grabbed that small clip of him asking about what we're going to do about the girls that's out on Figueroa. I got to walk my kids by there going to school. I grew up in that area. And, you know what I mean? Now we got young girls out there. Now, let me start by saying this, though. I don't agree with pimping. I just don't agree with it. I got daughters. But it happens and it goes on. In some of the situations, the girls want to do that because they want to get money. I'm not saying that they want to get beat on. I'm not saying that they want to get slapped around. I ain't saying none of that. But in a lot of instances, a lot of times the girls actually want to get out there and get the money. Now, some of the girls is out there renegade. They out there, they don't have a pimp. They just out there. So we can't say that those girls were coerced or manipulated into doing this things that they're out there doing to get money. But for the girls that's out there, first and foremost, that's underage, I definitely don't agree with that. I feel as though if anybody is engaging in anything with a minor, you should be held accountable for that. I'm gonna just keep it real, man. I'm not saying that you should go to jail. I'm not saying that you should be arrested. I'm saying somebody, a father, a cousin, an uncle should come out there and beat the dog shit out of you for having that young girl out there on the strip doing what y'all got her doing. First and foremost.
You see, what I've been telling you, bro, I'm a prophet. I've been correct about these people. The reason why they don't believe that these monsters, these wild hyenas, these Neanderthals who were trafficking very young girls and children, the reason why they don't believe that they should go to jail is because they see themselves within those monsters. You know why? Because there's not much of a difference between the gangbanger who is recruiting 10, 11, and 12-year-olds to be a part of a gang and make decisions that are permanently going to destroy their lives. Preying on the 11 and 12-year-olds to go ahead and commit shootouts and murders for them, knowing in California they'll be out by 21. It's no difference. They're the same people. And they see themselves within the pimps that are out here pimping on young girls because they're also predators. They're nasty human beings. It's just a fact, all right? And when it comes to them, they really see criticizing these pimps as a moral dilemma. They see it as a difficult, it's not, to us normal people, it's not difficult, okay? We can criticize any wild hyena who is trafficking young women. We could criticize them because we're not out here doing dirt to kids. But these gangbangers who are recruiting 9, 10, 11, and 12-year-olds to their gangs to ruin their lives permanently, it's a moral dilemma for them because they're the same people. They're the same person. Come on. It's nasty. Now, I got a question for you. Why should you have empathy? Why should you have sympathy when one of them bite the dust? Why should you protest and march when one of them, get taken out by a cop? Why? Why should you do it when they don't even have love and respect for your children? They believe they should be able to violate your child and not do the time. They believe they have the right to recruit your 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old son into gangbanging. But then when one of them get gunned down by a cop, you want to march and cry. Stop the marching and crying for these gangbangers, bro. They don't deserve it, homie. All right? They are out here destroying the lives of your kids. They're violating your kids and believe they should be able to get away with it. They're disgusting human beings, right? And they may hit you with the slick talk, where they may hit you with that slick Black Lives Matter talk or that slick pro-black talk, but that's just slick talk. That's just their way of trying to disguise themselves among us. That's just their way of trying to co-opt the gangbang struggle with the black struggle as if we're the same. They're not like us, bruh. Sorry. So they're a different species. Sorry, they're not among us, homie. Right? When we march and protest for us, we're not marching and protesting for them. Right? When we are fighting for our rights and our struggles, make it clear, right? Our rights and our struggles is completely separate and void from the rights and struggles of a gangbanger. They're our biggest enemy, bruh. Right? Gangbangers were responsible for 40% of all homicides. Now, they will have you believe that they're out here murdering themselves. Hey, bruh, listen, man, ain't no gangbanger coming out and killing civilians, bruh. Bullshit. Bull crap. 43% of homicides that were gang-related the victims were non-gang members. They're murdering you guys at a similar rate as they're murdering themselves. These people are your biggest nightmare or your worst enemy. You want to know the crimes that they're saying these wild hyenas shouldn't go to jail for? I got the paperwork. I got the indictment. Let's look at the charges that they believe these wild hyenas should be out in these streets for. Let's look at the charges they believe these wild hyenas just deserve a tap on the butt for. They believe these wild hyenas deserve to just get beat up. And that's enough punishment for what these wild hyenas did to these vulnerable young women. Let's take a look. They provided young girls fake identification so they could travel and they could do 304 work in other states. Not only do you ruin their lives, right, specifically, but imagine how many other lives you ruined, right? How many dudes probably just wanted, to get their rocks off with somebody of age and legal, and then come to find out, they got tricked, right? They was given a fake ID, and now they got to live with that. Now they got to probably see in this RICO, like God forbid, like the faces get leaked, and they say, what? Imagine how many lives you're destroying by doing this sick stuff. And it's all because they don't want to get a 9-to-5. That's what makes this even worse. They're doing all of this. They're doing this nasty stuff. They're being this destructive because they don't want to get a 9-to-5. They don't want to work. They don't want to get off their behind and go clock in at Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, and put the fries in the bag. I'll put fries in the bag before I do some nasty stuff like this. The paperwork also stated they provided drugs to young girls as well. And they provided them these drugs to make them more compliant, lower their inhibitions, and keep them warm during solicitations and stimulants. They were. You would think if they had enough time on their hands to do this much research on things like this, that they could utilize their time to, go to school. If you want to be a creep scientist, go be a real scientist, homie. This is sickening, man. And in the cases that the girls are not compliant, they will post videos and photographs of them beating up the girls, right, to embarrass them. They will also post up things like, again, like them in the bear, them in their birthday suit. Post that up to embarrass them, right? Because they treated these girls like their properties. They branded these girls. They got like their names tatted on these girls. Some without their will, right? Some without their permission. They didn't have no choice.
We got people who don't agree with what Smack said. A lot of people is looking at it like this. Smack, you said that, and some of the things that the mayor pointed out is in the indictment. And it's kind of like not necessarily saying you got the ball rolling for the indictment, but it's like you wanted something done about it that directly affected people from your community. I mean, I know you from Troubles, but we know how Troubles and Hoovers is clicked up. So the majority of the people that got locked up is from Hoover. So these is people from your community that got locked up for these activities. The indictment says that the Hoovers, and I'm not saying that it's true, but the indictment says that the Hoovers is controlling the majority of what's going on Figueroa. So now we got people questioning if Smack is wrong for saying what he said.
Smack, the podcaster, is wrong for asking the mayor, what are y'all gonna do about these young vulnerable women on Fig? What are y'all gonna do about these young girls being out here selling themselves? He's wrong for that. But the dudes who were trafficking these young women, the dudes who were violating, beating up, posting images of them beating them up, branding them, giving them fake IDs to trick men into selling themselves to, those dudes, hey, cuz, we can't speak on the streets, kid. Those dudes is fine. Those dudes don't belong in jail. They just deserve a head up and a fade. Oh my God. Yo, God, it's time for the flood, homie. From the heavens to the earth, man, it's time to wash this away, bruh. Ain't no saving this culture. Ain't no saving the degeneracy that exists in this city, bruh. It's time to wash it all away. Ain't no saving this, man. These dudes are degenerates. They're beyond saving. These dudes are weirdos. They're creeps. And a lot of them have some pent-up homosexuality within them. We know this. We know this, bruh. Come on, man. Dudes want to sit on the block all day and smell another man's drawers, man. And when that man go away and get a job and don't come back for a while, they put out a warrant out for his arrest to bring him back to the block so they can spank his booty for being away for too long. These dudes are weirdos. Let me know in the comment section, man, what do y'all think about this, bro? All right, do y'all believe that the podcaster is more wrong than the perpetrators? Let me know in the comment section, all right? And if you're still watching, man, click on this video here somewhere on my screen, somewhere here, or here on my screen, man, to see my initial reaction. And I do more so of a full deep dive into the full RICO. So click on this video right here to find out who the rappers were that got arrested during this RICO. I'm going to see you guys in this video. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.